All right, so this is our sample test case. This can be uploaded into Imagery directly. You just need to delete these extra columns. These extra columns are here for your information. So for example, you'll have some test cases requiring two-way interactive text. Very few, but I have instructions here on how to trigger that two-way interactive text offer. And most of the notes I'm putting here are specific to the row that it's corresponding to in the sample test case. For example, you may need to write a test case for inputting a driver's license rather than a social. So in this step, for SSN question, provide social security number from Equifax file with desired deposit info. There's a note here that if you need to do a driver's license test case, just say you don't have one whenever it asks you about the social. There's some notes down here about the CCIN code. This chart looks scary, but it's not. All it's telling you is it's telling you what CCIN remark to expect if that value was provided to the IVR. Since I'm assuming a majority of your test cases are going to be, they're going to have most of the values be provided in the IVR, and you're just going to have one or two that then most of these remarks will be here, and whichever one is missing is the remark that will not be there in the remark section of the CCIN. All right. So if you have any questions on this CCIN section, you can reach out to any of us. I think I don't want to go into this one too much because I think this will confuse you, but basically, these remarks will appear along with these, depending on what the response was for two-way text. So like, for example, if you provide an email address through two-way text, you're going to see this remark, EMLT. If you provide your first name via two-way text rather than the IVR, you'll be getting FNMT as well. And that way the care center will be able to monitor like what percentage of these you're getting two-way text versus voice. Additionally, you are going to get, so like if you provide your first name through two-way text, can you write this down to Solange? Oh, you can't. The question is, should our testers expect to see the first name remark here in addition to the first name remark for the two-way text? Like for example, FNM and FNMT, or should they be mutually exclusive? Same thing for email address, because email address here is EML, but if it's obtained through two-way text, which it has to be, it would also have EML. And then, of course, if you're getting the call into calls, this will say fact XFER because you're getting it into the calls application. So that's just a little side note, and I'll take you through the sample test case. So if you press F2, you'll be able to see all the words here. Big step. Prerequisites here: check Nuance admin console and ensure question order is the following. If order does not match the below, it is not optimal but still testable, provided the tested variable question is heard. So I explained this yesterday, you weren't here, but this should be the question order. If for whatever reason you find yourself working and that's not the question order and there's no BA available, it's not the end of the world. You can keep working. It's just not optimal, but you can still do it as long as the variable you need to test is there. But it will be deviating from the test script, so it's not optimal. It could be confusing. So hopefully you're not in that situation, but if you are, that is an option. But for the most part, see a BA about getting this put in the correct order. It should stay in that order. I don't see why anyone would be moving the orders around.
Say that, would it be the IVRBAs, like your OSBers and
Oscar,
ADers?
yeah. But Annie also knows
Yeah.
how to change, and you're probably going to know how to change this.
Yeah. Well, before you leave. Oh, today's my last day. You know that, right?
This is super easy to
That's fine.
change. I can show you this as soon as we let them go.
Perfect.
Open Cisco IP, get it ready to get a call, log into call CS, have a CS residential address ready. Call this number from a number that is not on an FPL account. Then when you hear the robot voice, dial 2, then 1, then 1. And the step response is, thank you for calling FPL. You hear the greeting. So for the most part, I don't see you needing to change step 1 very often. There may be a few test cases where you're wanting to call from a number that is on an FPL account, at which point the path slightly changes. I'm going to have a cheat sheet that I'm going to work on with Krista that'll show you what numbers to press whenever you want to go down that path, and then also what numbers you want to press if you just want to go double authenticate first. You already know how. Yeah. So any questions on the first step? Next steps are very much shorter. For language selection, take appropriate action. English, do nothing. Spanish, press 9. Language is selected. Then your user is going to navigate to the packed application by pressing the following numbers. For residential, press 1. For we need to get more information question, 3. For open a new account. For existing account question, press 2. For not an existing account. For new service instructions, press 1 for get started. And then the outcome is you hear an address prompt and an address packed question asking for the zip code. You provide the zip code from a CS account for a non-RCS enabled meter and not an apartment. The account does not have an AL1N code in SAD, can be manipulated via GMSW. And the reason is you want to hear the dog question. Provide CS zip and here packed address question. So here you provide a CS account that has the address. So provide CS address and here's date question. For date question, say today, ask for confirmation. You say yes to the confirmation question. User hears a dog question. For dog question, say yes. That question is answered. You hear the prompt that step 1 is finished and transitions to name question. For name question, provide last name from Equifax file with desired deposit info. Ask for confirmation. Say yes. For next name question, provide first name from Equifax file with desired deposit information. I should actually fill in here. None of the rows in this column should be blank. So this actually should be name question. Okay. All right. So once you confirm, you hear the SSN question. Then you would provide the SSN number from the Equifax file, and it needs to match up with the name. It asks for confirmation. You say yes. So here's the ownership question. For ownership question, press 7 once, then wait a second and press 7 again, then wait a second and press 7 again. This is the question you're failing. Question gets bypassed, will need to be answered again later in calls. So this is a note to you guys. You can change the question that fails at any point as long as you're making sure that you're testing, putting a valid value for the variable you're trying to test. Right. In a positive scenario. For telephone questions, say yes. Question answered should hear email question. Say no to email question. Hear next prompt. If delay prompt is heard, wait through it and take no action. If prompt about deposit is heard, move on to next step. Delay prompt is heard. If there's no delay, then skip it. If deposit is required after deposit prompt, say continue. And then you'll hear this part of the process is complete and your information has been saved for the next step. please enter the 10-digit agent extension. That's the point where you will press in the 10-digit agent extension that you get for Cisco IP, and then you'll receive the call. The call's application. SOSW lien will populate with the connect order. You can put your phone down. Don't hang up, but put it down. If you hang up, it'll disappear. It won't be able to call. You'll have to start all over again.
How is that painful, Brianna? Starting all over again? Because this would be brand. Okay, got it. A Cisco IP phone. The soft phone. Yeah, we could check your desktop and everything. Yeah, we'll check. And Javi was here yesterday. It goes on your desktop, and then technically, because I told her too about your concern about the hard phone and stuff, we could, but then you could technically still leverage the cell phone, which is easier.
Yeah, like I called on my cell phone.
This is it's a little icon that's on your desktop. Yeah, he wanted to check it out yesterday.
This is what it looks like.
So it's a virtual version of your phone.
Anyway,
1, 2, 3, 4.
so the fields, so you put it down, and then what happens is your call should get dropped into the SOSW customer info tab. It should auto populate with all the information. So in this case, your entire customer info tab will auto populate because in this particular test case, you provided everything. You were just missing the ownership type, which is also in customer info, right? I forgot. Yeah. So customer info would be the only one that's not provided. It should be red, and you need to put a value there. Then you're going to continue per the test case. User proceeds to fill in any other missing information for the order and submit. And then the order submits successfully. You'll get an error message. You check the CCIN, and this CCIN is present. Has the code SOCM service order connect or serve order connect, received from, the name, customer name, address, customer address, comments. This is largely existing. The delays and power availability are existing. But what's added here are these CCIN codes that I already talked about on the right-hand side. This FNM, LNM, depending on what was provided. Okay,
and it's gonna be on one row. It could be on multiple, right? Like all of these variables that eventually pass over.
It's gonna, well, the remarks is a 2-row
Right.
thing. If there are too many, then it's just gonna truncate.
Okay.
Because even if they don't see it, I think their querying service will see it behind the scenes. If you want, you can double check with it. Write that down as a question. I'm pretty sure that came up, and I'm pretty sure there was no issue, but I don't remember 100%. It was 6 months ago.
Real estate.
It doesn't hurt to ask the question. All codes are in remarks that were entered on the IVR with any missing information from the IVR not present. So in this test case, the ownership type code should not be there as that question was skipped. So all of these should be there except this one in the remarks column, remarks field of CIN. User checks history window and calls and compares versus CCIN. Same rows generated by CCIN are visible in history, and that's the end of the test. Any questions? Is it a lot more straightforward than it seemed yesterday? So pop quiz, go ahead, Krista. Am I allowed to answer?
No. I guess, do we want to have them do the draft?
Yeah.
That's the pop quiz. Do a draft of a test case.
Yeah. So Kevin. Actually, ladies first. Right?
Ladies first.
Yeah.
She's like, give it to me.
I want you to write using the information we've given, write another test case for driver's license. No.
How fun! Do you remember the writing for calls?
She's about to go resign.
She's like, I'm done. I'm out.
Like, oh, I
Camera
gotta take some
out.
calls. The 5%. Mm-hmm.
So that's a pending question.
The specialist type here, but the specialist type, what I think is going to happen, is going to be 3 different specialist types. It's going to be premise research, none, and FSO. We have a pending question if it's even necessary to do these for
See an
PBC or
outside of
not.
care center.
But I'm trying to write. I tried to write this in a way that it wouldn't matter. That it's just a matter of copy pasting the entire thing.
Right.
But you will need to add a detail. Oh, go back. Undo. Escape. Undo. Okay, so leave that names as they are. So don't copy that part. Go all the way back up. And go from C2 to, yeah, do that piece. Correct. There you go. Instead of name, it's driver's license. Yeah. Yeah, the first one was for name. The first one was the whole point of that test case was to verify the name. Even though you could validate a lot of other things, you just need to. We don't want to overdo it on all on one test case. But you said there were no questions, huh? What happened? Scroll up. Scroll up. Go to the SSM.
13?
Below. Here.
You give a driver's license. You got this. You got this.
You didn't have to delete the whole thing. Go ahead. You might want to add a row or two. Probably going to need a few extra steps here. Okay, here's something I want to show you guys. Um, if you're confused about how to write one of these, I know you know how to look at it. Don't know the language. All you need to do is call the test line, and when you get to this question, say I don't have one, and you'll see what the IVR says. You'll hear it say, oh, go ahead and provide your state. State, and go ahead and provide the number, and you can write it. Unfortunately, I don't know if that piece is working 100% current test driver's license. I think there's open defects. Yeah.
Mention, we mentioned the whole thing that you brought up last time, remember? Calle Ocho? Ocho Calle? I did. I saw no response. And they like, pobrecito, they were like, Krista, how would you say this address? And I'm like, Southwest Ocho Calle. Yeah, but the thing wants me to say Calle Ocho, invert it. But then Northwest 88th Terrace worked. Like you could say it that way and it was fine. I mean, yeah, right. Quimbe. Bring it back. Haha, Quantel. Our secret.
I could, it doesn't matter. I mean, really, the assumption should be we don't really it's merely the only maybe during like a briefing of all the testers when testing begins, you can make a mention that if you hear the confirmation versus not hearing the confirmation, it doesn't matter to the ultimate outcome. Ask for confirmation, say yes, user. Okay, so now what else needs to change? I'm skipping something. No. Good point. It's good to look through the rest because maybe something you're changing will change some of what's going to happen here, but that's not it. Like you may hear delay prompt, but I kind of wrote it ambiguously. Delay prompt is positive word move on to next step. So that's not the change that's needed. One change that is needed though, I'm going to give you another. Devin, do you know what change needs to happen? The ownership is already getting failed here. You could change it if you wanted to, if you wanted to be fancy, but you don't have to. Remember, you're testing. What are you testing? What do you validate? What do you verify? Where? Fact, it's all about calls. I mean, it's IVR, but it's also you're not testing the IVR. You're testing calls. the name of the test case? So why is the point of the test case to verify the name?
Valid.
Ah, she's on it. If you wanted to be more fancy, you would say checks the DL state and number field. More specific. Okay. What else? You know, that would be a good addition. I want you guys in your test cases to specify which remark should be there. Not necessarily all of them, but make sure it includes the one that you're testing for. So, like even the first one, we should add the name to that one. Why don't you go ahead and do that? Any other feedback, Krista? I think that's the only change you need.
That's it.
Yeah. So is that scary? That was actually pretty easy, right? Tell you to call the help desk. Gee,
Here at the bottom.
sure. Make sure remarks include open bracket. Yeah, you can put it there in the one you have selected. So do you know how to find it? Yeah, you got that.
Detail given. DLG.
Wait.
On go to column H, row 45. Is null or blank? It was given. Because the name of the social group. Offered. Offered.
No other feedback? I think she's done. Kevin, I want you to write a test case that's testing a two-way interactive text. Could be address. That's not fair. I shouldn't do that. That's going to be on our cheat sheet. You pick one, Krista.
The Zoom. Scroll up on the side. Would a date of birth be a bad one? Yes. So the social, I guess when they call Equifax, it triggers. So then Choose someone that doesn't have. Hmm, should I say without ID so that we could still stay in the hub of ID? So either they have a social or they don't, and they don't have a driver's. A good social, just like a good call. Yep. Repeat that again because I'm still like trying to find my love for it. Mm, 6 days over. Sooner the better though. For name question, you're done at the beginning of the case in column A or B. Oh, wow. Hmm. Security number. They'll go up. They'll go up. So when the tester sees it, you see how she has fact driver's license. So what you're doing for yours, so then it'll be a matter of test case, I guess 3, fact SSN. Add a little X. Is it 2 zeros or 3 zeros? You want to add that also to. Yeah, there. Perfect. Gave you an easy one. And at the end, it'll be adding, I guess, the CCIN value, the one that you had in the brackets for SSN.
If you had a question, I must stop. I must. Put it. Think tell why. Able to crash. But all you have to do is back to question. But back to back. I never. I'm not putting. Yeah. Anything else has it all all the data and checking. All right, so Quantal, that was it for all the questions related to this test case. Enjoy the video.